All right, today we're diving into one of the most powerful and honestly, one of the most overlooked forces in a free society. We're talking about something called organized compassion and the incredible power of what's known as civil society. So let's kick things off with a huge question, one that every free society really has to wrestle with. How in the world do we solve our biggest problems, things like poverty, taking care of our communities, without, giving up our freedom in the process? It's a tough balancing act, right? Because usually, we think about it like this. On one side, you've got the state. Its main tool is force, compulsion. It makes the rules. Then, on the other side, you've got the individual, all about freedom and choice. It feels like this constant tug-of-war between the two. But what if that's not the whole picture? What if there's a third one? And that is exactly where the answer lies. It's in this huge, vital territory that exists right there in the middle. We're talking about the space in between.
So, what is this space? Well, it has a name, civil society. And it's actually pretty simple. It's just the network of all the voluntary groups and organizations that we create ourselves. They exist somewhere between our own private lives and the official power of the government.
And you know what? When you start to look at what actually makes up civil society, you realize it's all the stuff you already know. We're talking about families, churches, charities, and nonprofits, local schools and neighborhood associations, community groups and service clubs. These are all the places where we choose to show up, where nobody's forcing us to participate.
This quote really gets to the absolute heart of why that choice matters so much. Think about it. A government powerful enough to solve every single one of our problems would also be powerful enough to control every single part of our lives. Civil society is the alternative. It lets us solve problems without handing over all of that control.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how does it actually work? What does it look like on the ground? Well, let's look at the engine of civil society, what you might call organized compassion in action.
Really, the most visible, formal version of this idea is the nonprofit sector. I mean, these are organizations literally built to serve the public good. They're not driven by profit like a business, and this is key. They don't operate with the force of the government.
And their process is what's so brilliant. It all starts at the local level, by identifying what people in a community actually need. Then, they bring in volunteers, people who want to be there. They take care of the resources they're given. And maybe most importantly, they serve people as neighbors, not just as numbers on a spreadsheet.
And that little word right there, choice, that's the secret sauce. It's the whole reason this model is so incredibly good at building trust.
Think about it. When help is offered freely, it just changes the whole vibe. It fosters gratitude, not entitlement. It builds real human connections, not dependency. And because it's local, it can pivot and adapt to what's needed right now. But at its core, it shows a real moral commitment, not just someone following an order.
And that's exactly why civil society can step in and succeed where big government programs sometimes can't. It can deal with those deeper human issues, the kinds of wounds that no law can ever really touch. All because its power comes from generosity and choice, not from a legal mandate.
This all leads us to a really important distinction we have to make, the huge difference between offering help and exerting control.
And the difference in how they operate is just night and day. Civil society's main tool is persuasion. It invites you to join in. The result? It protects the dignity of everyone involved. The state, on the other hand, ultimately relies on compulsion. You have to do it. And while that's necessary sometimes, if that's the only tool you use, it can easily lead to resentment.
So, after hearing all that, the big question is, what does this all mean for you? Where do you fit in? Let's talk about your role in all this.
And here's the best part. You don't need anyone's permission to be a part of this. You can jump in by volunteering some time, donating resources, maybe serving on a board. You could teach a skill that you're good at, or even just find a great, trustworthy nonprofit in your area and support the work they're doing.
It really all boils down to this one simple idea. A healthy, free society is proactive. It doesn't just sit around and wait for the government to come fix things. It sees a problem and it gets organized to help.
So let's make this super practical. Here's a simple challenge for you this week. Step 1. Find one local nonprofit and just take 5 minutes to learn what they actually do. Step 2. Give something real, even if it's small. An hour of your time, a skill you have, a few bucks. And step 3, and this one's important, when you engage, go in asking, how can I serve, not how can I take charge?
Let's wrap up with one final thought that just says it all. Free people don't outsource their compassion. They organize it. See, it's not something you can just delegate to someone else and forget about. In a truly free society, it's something we take care of ourselves, together.